our flyer. Since she put us on Facebook and brought us into the modern world of How many of you, is this your first time coming to one of these events?
8.
5, 6, 7 are students. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 students. Before we turn it over to Chris. Last month, June's tour was at a farm called Squeaky Duck. And the Squeaky Ducks are right here. And they had this cool thing, a biogas digester, which they had at their farm and showed us, but it wasn't working then. But they got it working and they brought it. And it's outside, and if we could just take a minute to go outside and see the biogas digester. And if there's anything to be heated up for the potluck, it can be done on biogas.
A couple days after the tour, we actually said, oh, what the heck, let's light it up, and it lit. And it was either because the gas that was being produced at the time was either just CO2, or I was lighting it wrong. But it lit just fine, and we've actually been cooking on it pretty much every day since then. We got it hooked up to a little stove, so if you guys want to come out here, I'll show you how it works. This is just the storage, the generators at home, because it's heavy and it's full of biomass and water, so it's kind of hard to port around. But basically, I've been capturing off this, it's just a vinyl bag that's actually paintball target. It inflates and looks like a barrel. So it's a perfect amount of volume to show this.
Oh, I saw a flicker. It's there.
Yeah, so we've got basically a blue flame similar to propane, so you might not be able to see it very well, but manure and water. And that was what got it started. About 5 weeks in, after it gets started, then you can start adding pretty much anything. Biomass, grass clippings, kitchen scraps, dead mice from your mouse traps.
You have a cat litter box you can use.
Pet litter, whatever works. So, if I were in August, if I were to take it down to here, that'll be about tomorrow morning. Back up. So that's like a third of the barrel. Depending on how hot it is, so the initial methanogen bacteria, they come from the goat, so the goat has to be, or the device has to be the same temperature as like the body of a goat, basically, so 100 some degrees. If it's not, it just produces slower. I mean, it's not like it doesn't produce, but like on a hot day, it fills up fast. And this is a small system, so we got a 55-gallon drum equivalent to this, making the gas. But you can make the systems bigger, like IBC totes or whatever. More volume means more biomass, means more gas more often. So
but it depends on the heat of the
right.
environment.
Yeah, and actually
so you can't use it for heating in the winter. Then.
Well, you actually could if you could figure out a way to just overwinter the barrel, the generator itself. If you kept it inside and kept it warm, you could totally basement, insulate it, just have it be warm. Of course, you could totally produce indefinitely in gas. So
are the devices set up for heating purposes, for heating homes?
You could. I mean, you would need a lot of gas. This gas here is not compressed, so LP, liquid propane, is actually a compressed gas. So you get a lot of gas in a very small space. This is just fills the bag, and it's not compressed at all. As a matter of fact, the only pressure that I'm adding to actually get it to burn is just the top of the lid here. Just cut the lid of the barrel off, and that is enough weight to give it the pressure to allow it to burn. And LP actually is under a tremendous amount of pressure, and they have a pressure regulator that steps it down to a pressure that would be equivalent, compatible with this device. What I've done here is this tube here is for my methane, and then this tube for this burner is for LP, so I could do both if I wanted to. So it's kind of a hybrid system, I guess.
This partially now is called home biogas, and it's about the size of this table plus that, like an IBC tote size for your backyard or your basement. And then there's a lot of DIY designs online, and then there are large-scale examples of this all over this country. People are doing dairies, mostly cow manure. And then in Europe, I hear they've managed to tap into municipal sewage. And septic tanks naturally produce methane anyway, and they've piped into car fuel.
Yeah.
So I wish we were there in this country, but...
So anyone not wanting to DIY, this company, Home Biogas, is the company that actually makes units for the home. And they're a family-sized unit, so it's a lot bigger than this. It's a cleaner, nicer looking model. Methanogen bacteria, they're called archaea, and they are one of the oldest bacteria there are. They actually are adapted to all ranges of temperatures. So they just work, they produce better when it's hotter. So does that make sense? In the wintertime, the barrel itself is filled with water, so it would freeze. But if you were to keep it above freezing, I think it would probably produce gas just really slow. Ideally, you want it to be the temperature of the creature you took it out of. Cat temperature, at least 90.
And do you need to replenish with manure periodically?
Yes, you feed it whatever you have. The system I built is actually designed. It's from a company called, or an organization called Solar Cities, and they are a nonprofit that hasn't. The design is open source, so that's the way I designed it. But you basically, you can see, you put the food in here, and then an equal amount of effluent comes out. So you never have to drain the tank ever. You just put something in, and then something old comes out as soon as you displace it.
Effluent is a liquid fertilizer you can use for your garden. It's high in nitrogen, and it should be fully digested by the time it gets forced out when you feed it.
Quasar Energy, and they have 12 municipal scale ones in the state of Ohio.
Great, wonderful.
We went and visited one, people from SOPEC and the Recycling Center and the City of Athens, which is the largest source of that around here is the City of Athens. So
Yeah.
That's
Great.
encouraging to hear. Get the feeling this community loves to hate corporations, but I love hearing when big corporations do things like that, and they are doing. Disney World is doing biogas, so I'm, when the big boys start doing stuff, that's when things start to move. But this is a carbon neutral thing. A lot of people are kind of afraid of it being still a carboniferous thing, but methane is CH4, so that's 1 carbon unit per 4 hydrogen units. So that means it emits carbon, but only in an amount that can be swallowed up immediately by everything green that's growing right now. And it comes from current stuff that grew very recently. It's like you put grass clippings in, you get methane out, and your grass that grew the next week eats it back up, whatever you emit. So it is a carbon emitting device, but it's like carbon neutral, you might say.
It's lighter than air, so if it were to leak, or if it's in your home, it'll go up and dissipate. It doesn't pool on the floor like propane if it escapes, so it's not explosive.
That's why homes blow up when there's a propane leak.
Right.
Because it sinks, and it can just keep collecting.
The other thing about the big boys doing it, if you do this on a large scale, they scrub their gases. So basically what I've got in this bag is a combination of mostly methane, about 60 to 70%. There is some carbon dioxide in there which will not ignite. It's just a cocktail of gases. It's just in there. And then we've got obviously water vapor, which can be taken out. So the big companies know how to get just straight methane. And again, this is created methane. You're all probably used to hearing about fracked natural gas, which is the same thing. It's just you don't have to hunt and gather this. It's just you make it.
And it's not ancient.
Right,
Exactly,
not ancient
yeah.
sunlight. It's current sunlight and current carbon. And anyone can make it on any scale from small to large. So that's what's really exciting about it. We've been cooking with it. Her dad said that a blue flame is 3,000 degrees. I don't know if that's true. It's a hot burn. We've got a little bit of tarnishing going on with this burner here because it's got some hydrogen sulfide gas in it and it's got water vapor. I don't know how to take it out of there. It'd have to be condensed or something, drained off or something like that.
I'm Chris Schmiel, and welcome to Integration Acres. We have 2 pieces of property. My wife Michelle and our son Griffin, he's 14, and our daughter Hazel, she's 11. I think they're all up at the house waiting for us. That's where I started around here. There was a little piece of property up there that had an old trailer on it and a bunch of trash and like multiple rows, and a bunch of pawpaws. I went to OU. I started to go to school for psychology, and then throughout that process I got into creating your own major. I made my own major. It was called Holistic Transition to Sustainability. I've been a fan of sustainability for a while. I was involved with activism on campus. Through that process, met a lot of people in the community, started to come to the farmers market, wound up graduating with my degree in sustainability. Not sure what I was going to do, but some folk from this intentional community out in Amesville called the FAR, they kind of approached me and they said, "Hey, what are you doing this summer?" And I was like, "Well, I'm not really sure." And they said, "Do you want to help build this house with us? Help me out, live in this cabin, work a couple days a week?" I said, "Okay." And so lived in this little cabin they had in the woods and helped them build a house. And then got to meet all the other people out at the farm, an intentional community with a lot of people into permaculture and agriculture and building stuff. Yeah, lived out there and then went traveling with Michelle around the country. And we went to cool things like barter fairs, and we went to all the groovy communities in Washington State and Oregon and California, New Mexico, and went to Mexico. My parents live in Cincinnati, and Michelle's family's in Pittsburgh, and we just decided that a lot of my friends were moving to Portland and Eugene and Seattle. And
They're still doing that.
And they're still doing that, but I felt like I needed to stay in Ohio because it's the heart of it all. And Ohio needed help in this topic of sustainability. I mean, if everybody moves out there. While I was going to school at OU, I worked at campus recycling. And so I'm that's kind of one thing that I'm been a big part of me growing up. But we helped start a community garden, some friends of ours, where the kids garden is on East State Street. Me and my friends helped. That was a community garden. One of the things we visited was in Taos, New Mexico, the Earth Ship. Tire houses. That was something that intrigued me. There were some folks that went to OU that were working out there, and we got to go out there and visit. So we have a tire house at our house. There's a couple of them in Athens County. There was this guy named Carl Bowers. He built one, and he was 40-something, I was 20-something. And he was chain smoking, him and his wife were chain smoking, pounding tires. And, that's out on Dutch Creek Road, up towards Amesville. So the Earthship model out west is they just put tires right on the ground. There was a guy over in Cincinnati, Michael Reynolds, the guy that created the concept of the tire house. He was an architecture student at the University of Cincinnati, and they had some students over the years build one in downtown Cincinnati, but it didn't work because it rains so much more here. All the wood is pretty much local. So this was sawed locally, it's poplar. This is oak. Meeks lumber, Paul Neidhart down in Meigs County. We actually cut several trees down off our property and had it sawn up here on site. We stacked and stickered it and planed it and routed it and sanded it and did all that stuff to make the paneling on the inside of the house here. It's flaking aspen, it's a very light wood, and that was good because we actually used these things called log tongs, and I had my friends come over and we hauled them out of the woods. Friend power. We cut some aspen, some sassafras, a little bit of cherry. We have 23 acres up here. Most of it's woods. We bought as much wood as we could locally. I mean, we bought plywood from Carter's, but all the other wood we bought locally. There's 480 some tires in the foundation. They're 8 tires high in the back. So the main difference with the design from New Mexico to Ohio is a lot of French drains. The drainage pipes with a lot of gravel, Wash River gravel. There's 2 of those around the outside of the foundation. Underneath the slab, there's more of that. We have a floating slab. The tires are just right on the ground. There's no foundation. We poured no foundation. We just dug out here and took the dirt that was here, put it in the tires. There's stucco over the tires. You can't see the tire. And that protects it from a potential fire. There's also plastic over the tires. So the tires are like this, and you fill that up with cob, which is basically mud or dirt and straw and Portland cement. And then you like pack that in those spaces, and that's how we filled that out. We'd also stick things like aluminum cans for filler. And there's a lath over it, the lath that the stucco goes onto.
So how were they placed? Were they staggered, rows staggered on top of each other?
Yeah, so you got 2 tires here, the other tire would go on the top. Every once in a while you had to use spacer blocks, which we would get carpeting, and you drilled into the tires, and then we'd mix up concrete in like a wheelbarrow and fill those with concrete. So it took us about maybe 2 months to do the tires. It didn't take us that long. It takes about an hour a tire for 1 person. Yeah, you take the tire and you fill it up, put cardboard in the bottom, and then you push the dirt in there, and then you take a sledgehammer and you pack it in, and it swells up. They weigh like 300 pounds each. And then you have a tamper and you level it out. I never did this before. We just tried it. It seems to have worked.
What kind of soil did you use?
The soil from right here, it's very, a lot of clay.
A lot of clay.
It's very clayey. But luckily, our soil type, there's like shale, like rock down there. So like the tires are sitting on the rock. We had a little bit of settling in the back, but nothing major. On the top of the tires, we built a concrete beam. So we formed it up, so that kind of connects it all together. So the house is like curved. With the earth ships, they're kind of in the shape of U's. So the house is actually cantilevered out on the corner. We have our kitchen, our like hanging out area in the basement. We have a utility room and our wood stove. It's like an open design, so the wood stove, we don't have any forced air or anything. The heat just rises up. We do have a little air conditioner up in our bedroom, so it is air conditioned right now. We have all our water. It's from our cisterns that we're collecting right now with the rain. We have 2 1,800 gallon, so we have 3,600 gallons right here, and I have another one back there too. We don't have a well though. We have a reverse osmosis. And then we get water from the farm, which is public water. We have a energy efficient, water efficient washing machine. It's a Staber. They're made in Columbus, in Groveport. That's been a really good appliance for us. We've gotten all energy efficient appliances, like all LED lights. Our electric bill is usually between $45 to $50 a month. But last month was our highest bill ever. We ran the air conditioner a lot. It was like $81. So we have a composting toilet, and in the toilet we have a urine diverter. So that's, if you want to look at the poop, you're welcome to look at it. Every like once a year I clean out. There's like a couple chambers in there. So there's like what's kind of fresh, and then there's like another chamber. I clean out the other chamber and then move the other stuff. We got 4 people here. It's not bad at all. It doesn't really stink. It's just, we don't put the urine, keeping the urine out, and that goes in the gray water that goes outside. Now, when I was building this house back in the late 90s, I had the health department out. I had this book, composting toilets and gray water systems. and they said, yeah, this looks good. I don't know if it would go, I don't think it would do that now. I think they changed the law.
Like the dinosaur.
Laundry's a nice touch.
And on a rainy day, dry your clothes. Here's the picture of us pounding the tires right here. Yeah, it's a little southeast. Our house is mostly done. These are all tires. Eight tires high. Four tires high. Yeah, we just like got a backhoe out here. We just like dug it out, kind of like flattened it out. This shows how we. Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
Those are the tires.
Oh, yeah. So are there any vertical rods or anything in there?
Yeah, we put rebar down.
Yeah, okay.
Every 2 we pound them down. And
So you filled them in place. You put the tires where you wanted them, and
Yep.
then you.
and then you can see on the top there's that beam, the concrete beam, and that kind of locked it all together.
That makes a lot of sense.
And you talked about putting them on the ground, but you dug down here.
Right.
How
Dug-
far?
Well, like
This
8 feet.
Oh, you so there aren't any under here.
This is a slab. This is underneath here. There is lots of gravel and drainage pipes.
And that actually holds the heat, which helps.
Yeah, and it's like in the winter. This is like with our wood stove right here. You know, the radiant heat.
Yeah.
You know, this warms up. And
This looks like.
in the ideal world, we'd get some more like drapes or something from the because we lose a lot of heat.
Through the windows.
But in the winter. But so the passive solar design, we have a big 2-foot overhang, and we have a lot of deciduous trees around here. So in the summer, we have a lot of shade, and in the winter, the way that the light comes in when the sun gets lower in the sky. I mean, it's pretty nice. I mean, we were kind of inspired by Frank Lloyd Wright and some of his philosophical architectural designs, where you're like looking out into nature.
Yeah. Just watching the rain come down through those windows was really neat.
Yeah, and there's
A ringside seat.
There's a big valley down there, so like it's in the when the leaves are gone.
Oh, yeah, you
It's a
get it.
nice forested view.
We also have a passive solar design, and one thing we do in the winter is we have these insulation panels, like a styrofoam thing, like a 1-inch thick, that we just press in each window and take them out when the sun comes out.
So we did this crazy like rock climbing wall.
Yeah.
Makes it a little harder.
Yeah. You could actually cut it to fit like each window. Yeah, I guess the upper ones are kind of big though.
They're kind of hard to get to. But
Like the lower ones, you certainly could do that in.
after we lived in this trailer, and we wanted to, because we designed it ourselves, like do something different, fun. And we got a mosaic in the bathroom floor too. I still need to get this done. It's one of the last projects.
Is this your heat?
That's our heat.
Still need to get what done?
I'd like to put bricks.
Oh,
Finish that.
Be upstairs.
Yeah, because it's the way the air flows and the heat naturally rises. But I do a few things differently, like if I were to rebuild it. But, it's not a huge house, but it's too big for us really. Like, I don't know, we're really busy. Doing, like, the spiders and everything. But yeah, we had lots of friends. We did this mosaic that took like forever to do. Yeah.
We moved in 6 months after we started our house.
Yeah, Yeah, we kind of did something like that. We were like set up down here in the basement while we were still, just because it was better than the trailer. They're, yeah, double pane. Right down there. Yeah. Depends on the winter, but maybe 4 cords.
Regular cord is not hard.
Regular 4x4x8 cords. We built a new barns last spring, so now we have a spot to put wood, which is nice. We used to just have a big pile and a tarp. So yeah, that barn got built this spring, and it's got local wood too. It's a kiln-dried poplar, which Paul Neidhart hooked us up with. Really nice stuff. This stuff I got from a guy over in Chillicothe. Some random person that was selling wood.
Yeah.
And he's like, I've got. So these are pretty wide, which aren't the best for flooring, I found out.
Because they work?
They're just, yeah, the wider boards can cut. A lot of the better boards are thinner.
Thinner. So do you have any kind of a moisture problem or anything? A humidity problem or?
If we didn't have the AC on, and obviously the humid air would come in and it would be musty.
Yeah, we have a slab on grade concrete and it gets pretty humid.
Yeah.
But it was like
Styrofoam.
On top of the gravel, is there plastic?
Plastic, I think, then styrofoam,
Then concrete.
Insulated slab.
Yeah, we just came up with a design, and this guy, Robin Kelly, he built those cool gusset things there out of the old bulldozer crankcase.
oh, those are nice.
So he kind of helped make sure that this place was stout enough, and he went overboard, so it's very stout.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, nice.
No, he's out in Oregon.
Do you want to get up? I'm sorry. I'm so mesmerized by these.
He's doing these huge, like, outdoor national park bridges now, and stuff like that. The wood we get for free.
No water bill.
We don't have, like, sewer, so we basically have an electric bill. We have Wi-Fi here, which is great.
Telephone?
No more landline. And we're on Buckeye Roll out here. So the orchard is right up there. I know it's very wet, but we have like lots of pawpaw trees. We have the wild ones that we've kind of put the pasture into them, and then we've got ones in the woods which don't have as much fruit. Then we have the orchard, and we're cutting more trees out of the pasture orchard area, because over the years the other trees have gotten big, so that'll be firewood, or we do mushroom logs occasionally.
Do you have any actual pawpaws this year?
Yes. Yeah, there's a tree right there on the driveway that's loaded.
Good.
The crop is not great.
I saw
You don't
one
have
pop-
any?
They're small.
Small.
I've hardly seen any of the trees that normally.
Did you lose your flowers on May 15th?
We lost most of ours in April 10th. Ish. So yeah, that's not a late frost, but things had been warming up so much. And then so yeah, unfortunately last year wasn't a good year, and the year before wasn't a good year. So we're going to be completely sold out of pawpaw pulp. So whatever we get this year, we're going to have to like really squirrel away for the festival and stuff next year. Going to this international pawpaw conference down at Kentucky State in Frankfurt in a couple days. So maybe there's some other place like Kentucky, Indiana, places that didn't have a frost. Maybe we can buy some fruit. One of the reasons I got into pawpaws was because I have this sustainability degree and I'm really into permaculture. And you know that saying, when you have lemons, you make lemonade. Well, around here, we're really blessed with pawpaws. This is the pawpaw capital of the world, no joke. Right here, Southern Ohio. I would say that we have the best pawpaw, wild tasting pawpaws of any place.
But they're so susceptible to late freezes. Wipes them out.
The good thing is there's like millions of pawpaws around here, so we're still going to get some pawpaws. This is the 100th year anniversary from the 1916 Journal of Heredity. They had a competition for the best pawpaws. And the people sent in pawpaws from all over, from like Michigan to Florida, like wherever they grew, 25 states east of the Mississippi. And the top 5 best pawpaws came from Southern Ohio. So that's the reason they're having international conferences.
You said international, but I thought it was American.
It is native, but there's people growing pawpaws in Italy and Germany and Korea. That's one of the things that we've been really blessed with, is that we sell all our seeds now, and they're very valuable in Korea.
So we all should be collecting our seeds and doing something
Yeah,
with
and so
them?
you can't let your seeds dry out. That's your number one problem.
So how do you store them?
You have to put them in the cooler, and plant them as soon as possible. But yeah, Korea is like the same latitude as where we're at. So they grow ginseng, and we have a lot of ginseng. We planted back when Rural Action, and the Rural Action still sells ginseng seed. The problem with ginseng is that people steal it, and it's gone, and then you don't get to sell it because someone stole it. The spice bush is one of the other plants that we work with. We have tons of spice bush around here. We use it in a couple of our products, and we buy it from people. So if you want to pick spice bush and dry it, we'll buy it from you if you want.
And you buy pawpaws.
What part?
And we buy pawpaws.
A lot of people bring you pawpaws?
Yes, lots of people that have them on their property. We buy walnuts from people. So a lot of these folks that have those kind of resources, every year if they have them, if they want to sell them, we're here. Down at the farm, we have the little brick building. We have a little pawpaw museum in there, and that's our little pawpaw education center. So we have like different products, and if you guys ever see any weird pawpaw paraphernalia out there, like I'm interested in that kind of stuff. We have the ceremonial bill down there that made the pawpaw the state native fruit. And then we have lots of products that were made with pawpaws. We process them, and down in the kitchen down there, there's a big freezer. So that walk-in freezer, we've had to completely stop processing because we couldn't fit any more pawpaws in there.
Just the pulp?
Just the pulp. Yeah. So we take the skins off, we take the seeds out, and then we freeze them. Yeah, and I've always been into doing the processing of things and the value adding. We started down at AceNet because pawpaws don't last long. Outside super pockets, right?
Pawpaws.
Family history.
Come on in. If you need another beer, self-administer. It's in the cooler. Self-medicate? Yeah, it's in the cooler.
This is the cheese?
This is this is the cheese room.
The cheese stands alone?
Cheese stands alone. We have a little vat, and then we have a big vat. Our little vat is our pasteurizer, and on the wall over there, that box is our recording thermometer. There's this, the law is the pasteurized milk ordinance, so you have to like follow the law. We're inspected by the Ohio Department of Agriculture Dairy Division. That table right there is a draining table, so after you make your cheese and you have your curds, we drain it off that table. We collect all the whey. Oftentimes we have hogs. We don't have any hogs right now, but the hogs like whey.
Where do you do your dogs at home?
Down in the barn, and then we let them out into different parts of the field. The big vat we use for all the hard cheeses that have to be aged. So the pasteurized cheeses are like your Chev, and then, well, blue cheese. is also. We make 10 different types of cheese. Michelle, my wife's the cheese maker. She was a magazine journalism major, but she can make cheese. So yeah, we started with Chev, then we got into feta, and then do Gouda, cheddar, Romano, Tome, the blue cheese, and we do some French-style aged Chevs. So in the back we have another walk-in cooler, and then on the other side of the wall is the aging room. So I will let like a handful of people go back there, but you have to take your shoes off. We're doing our ferments in here, but we have this baker here, Gary Molina from Old Dog Acres. And then all of a sudden, because it gets pretty hot in here when he's baking, and then we have the yeast and stuff, some of our ferments, we started having some problems with them. So actually we have our ferments in the back too. And beans mostly right now, but we've done kimchi, and we have some sriracha sauces we really like. And we just focus on cheese.
The other guy does yogurt.
Yeah, Paul and Krista, they have yogurt. But we do drink the milk.
What all do you ferment?
So I had a grant with a SARE grant, which is a Sustainable Ag Research Education grant, and I did this fermentation thing. So we fermented a lot of stuff. I mean, we did beets and carrots, and we tried some stuff with pawpaw. It didn't seem to work really well. You know, sauerkraut, kimchi. Being a county commissioner, I've got a lot less time than I used to. The pickles and the beans are what people like the most, so I've kind of focused on those. Kimchi, you know, people like it, but they don't buy a lot of it. You know, like people aren't like consuming tons of kimchi all the time.
We all need to change that.
Yeah, we do. I like the sriracha sauces a lot. Those are.
Do you sell them at the market? I've not noticed.
I have like limited, like I don't like always bring it, but certain people know and then I bring it for them. And
What's it addition?
do the pork too, and usually we would sell them whole hogs and half hogs to people, and then we started like just bringing them to the market, and that people really liked them, so we're going to try to keep doing that.
The sausages are great.
And I think ultimately we're trying to get more into, like, this house over here is a rental right now, but we're going to probably do Airbnb there and have people out to the farm more eventually, maybe. But the milking parlor, it's called a pit system, so you stand in the bottom and you're not bent over. Because like when I moved out here, our two old neighbors were dairy farmers, and they had a stanchion system, and so they were like bent over like this all the time, and those guys, they like milked for like 40 years straight. That's one of the benefits of the seasonal rotational grazing, is you don't have to milk in the winter. So we stop milking at Thanksgiving. So we take off December, January, and February. I learned that from Bill and Stacy down the road there, who's helped start Snowville. Great quality of life thing, because those other guys who milk all the time, they would milk like nonstop for 40 years, and they like would never leave because they had to milk the cows all the time.
Is it twice a day?
This year was the first time we ever started milking once a day. We milk in the evenings, so we'll be milking tonight at 7 o'clock.
You have to milk tonight.
I have to milk tonight. And if you guys want to stay and milk the goats, you're more
Do
than
you have a
welcome.
milking crew, or do you do it yourself?
We have 3 different people that help us milk. So Sasha Sagetic, she's been working with us for 7 years, and she's kind of the herd manager. She takes care of all the goat needs. So we give the goats stuff like mineral. We give them kelp. The number one killer of goats is worms, so like worming is something we're always kind of keeping an eye on. We look at their eyelids and like how white or how red they are. If they're white, that means the worms are sucking all their blood. So that's the worming part, and then rotating them and feeding them hay. So the worms are on the grass. So if they can eat brush, that's better for goats. But after you've been on a farm for 10 years, they ate all the brush.
Do they eat poison ivy?
Yes.
How many goats?
We're milking 52. And so we have 12 on a side, so we can do, all the goats come in, we give them some grain. We get a mix made for us. It gets delivered from Jackson. It's got sunflowers and oats and wheat germ and corn and soybean meal and molasses or something like that. So
Is it organic?
no. It's not non-GMO either, because just the cost would be pretty expensive. I mean, I think the goats are healthy. Majority of what they're eating is the pasture. I'd say like 70 to 75% of.
How long does it take to milk for an evening?
Our milking shifts are like 2 to 3 hours, depending on the time of the year and if the goats are on the other side of the fence or something. But yeah, we have 30 acres fenced, so we have like 15,000 feet of woven wire fence, and we have like 8 different paddocks, and it's a lot of work keeping the electric. So we don't have the electric on right now. Rotating them, it is more labor, but there are benefits to it. Not all our paddocks have shade. That's one of our issues. So we've been planting some trees, some black locust trees, trying to get more shade going.
Why black locusts? Will they not eat black locusts?
I like black locusts because they fix nitrogen, and they're really just a great fast-growing tree. All these locusts that you'll see out here, because this was a cow dairy, there were like no trees practically.
Yeah, and then you can start keeping bees once the locusts are in flower.
Yep. Kelly, when she lived here, she had bees. And all the fence posts are made out of locusts. It's a good fence post.
You use livestock guard dogs then? Yeah. So you had a Pyrenees.
Well, she's pretty useless. She's like, I had her locked in with the big goats when she was a baby, but eventually she met our other dog, and then they've been like, she's gotten worse lately. Now she likes to be in the basement when it's hot out, you know. So we haven't had any coyote problems. This is where it's like a press. It used to be a vat that we would only find to our liking, so, which is not a real cheese vat, but it works for us. That is actually just a hot water boiler. It's not a steam. It could be steam, but we use just hot water for when you're making cheese. Steam is actually too hot, and you would like burn the milk sometimes. So the hot water is the best way to like gently warm the milk and cool the milk. We have less milk, we make cheese less often. But Michelle makes cheese, usually like this time of year we're making it 2 or 3 times a week, depending on what kind of cheese we're making. Because like when she makes blue cheese, it's pretty tough, so she doesn't make a big batch of that. You have a lot of flexibility. Underneath there are cucumbers, and you skim the scum off of it every couple days.
What's happening?
That's how my mom did it when I was
It's the lacto fermentation, so it's like the bugs in the air get in there, and then skim that off, and then we check the pH, and then when the pH gets down to a certain level, that's when we stop it, and we go and we stick it in the cooler.
Okay.
Smells right, and this so there's like white stuff, and then occasionally there's this brown stuff, and the brown stuff's not good.
Can you save a batch if that happens?
I haven't been able to do that. Okay. I mean, but like the pH is either dropping or it's not.
Right. So
it's either working or not. This is like a walk-in cooler where we have a bunch of buckets of feta and brine, and then in the back is the aging room.
So, this door was closed?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because like.
So what's the temperature usually in here?
Like 49.
So are these back here before they're waxed also?
No, we wax them back here. See that bucket right there? That's brine in here. So it depends on your recipe.
I'm just thinking about different kinds in the same room, and if that.
These are all the hard cheeses.
Right.
You know.
But still different organisms in different cheeses?
Maybe. I mean, different cultures in the different recipes. Then all the buckets of feta, they're in brine.
Right.
The blue cheese, those are in those tubs. And yeah, you got to mostly be careful about the blue cheese type stuff. But like every so often we have to scrub them.
Yeah.
You know, we get vinegar and we like
Vinegar and salt
wipe them off. And you got to monitor them. You got to flip them.
Are these hardening down there?
Those are these ones will need to get waxed.
Yeah.
Well, these are the same.
What's this white stuff here?
That stuff, that's probably the brine, leftover salt brine. The aging of the cheese is like a whole art. Fromage or whatever they call it. We like them like 9 to 12 months old. It starts getting really good. Here they are. Milk and clothes put on. So right over here we have a wetland. Waste water for the farm.
Is that a natural wetland?
Nope, it was put in by the cow dairy.
Okay.
It's got 3 cells.
You pretty girl. Yes, you are. You want your picture taken? Oh, my. Look at you. What have you got on your chin? What have you got on your chin? Hair of your chinny chin chin?
A lot of them have grotty chins.
Chin hairs on these women.
Gosh. Don't you know about tweezers, girls?
Oh.
Let it all out.
Yes. Girl. Quiet. You guys are quiet.
So see how they're chewing their cud like that?
Uh-huh, yeah.
See, that's good. They burp up their stuff and then they...
Aren't some of them too little to be milked? You got some tiny ones.
All these goats are getting milked. There's a...
Look how big they're.
Ooh.
Look like they're ready.
Yeah. It's painful. Yeah.
They'll kind of turn into dreadlocks occasionally on them.
Why are they climbing up that fence? Any particular
Their feet are wet,
Oh.
and they're really kind of sissies about their feet getting wet.
Ooh, baby girl. Well,
That's what triggers them, the light.
Going into heat, huh?
But yeah, we keep the bucks out until October 5th, 6th, 7th. That's usually when we bring them down.
Barn cat.
Turn it up. What's wrong? The news is talking about global warming again. I can't seem to stop worrying about it. Global warming? Global warming. It's what's been happening to our world. There's been a gradual increase in the overall temperature of the Earth's atmosphere. It's destroying our planet. For example, the glaciers in the Arctic are melting. So? Geez, Mom, you're such a stress case. I don't understand why this is such a big deal. Hello! Hello! I'm Jeannie. You're a genie? Well, I'm a fairy, silly. You just said you were a genie. My name is Jeannie. I'm a fairy. Jeannie, the fairy. Same difference. The whole genie in a bottle, that was my thing until those jerks beat me to copyright. Anyways, the point is, I'm a fairy. But more importantly, I'm the global fairy. I'm here to help you understand what global warming is. But I don't care about global warming. But, can you grant me 3 wishes? No. Stay on target. I don't grant wishes, and you should care about global warming. Why? Because it's important. But why? Yoo-hoo, Jeannie, it's not polite to fall asleep during a conversation. What are you doing? I'm trying to cue a musical number. It's called global warming, if you really want to know. It's the reason why places are seeing less snow. It's called global warming, if you really want to know. What makes you don't believe me? I guess we'll have a show. What's going on? Whoa, where are we? New Talk, Alaska. What are we doing here, and what does this have to do with global warming? Well, tell me, what do you see? I see a village. Hello? Of course you see a village. What else do you see? Expand on that thought. Well, the village is flooded. Why is it flooded? Isn't it obvious?
It's global warming, of course.
Oh my, not another genie.
Fairy! Well, actually, I'm just a fairy in training. Some fairies didn't think I was ready for a promotion.
Well, who are you then?
My name is Luther. And this village is flooding because of global warming.
Impossible.
Possible.
There's no way! I don't understand how...
Now, as I was saying... What?
This is precisely why you are a fairy in training. You do not change minds by silencing voices. You are such a troublemaker. I feel sorry for your poor wife.
Now, as I was saying, this village was built on permafrost.
Perma what?
Permafrost. It's frozen soil.
What does that have to do with global warming?
The changing climate is melting the soil.
So?
So, when the soil melts, the area floods. In another 10 years, the entire area will be underwater.
Wow, I didn't know that was an example of global warming. Come on, Emily. There's more to see. Whoa, where are we? Guess. Wait, I've been here before. We're in the Alps. But I remember it being colder. Why do you think that is? Let me guess. Is it because of global warming? My, what a quick learner you are! Yes, you are correct. Global warming is causing the temperature to rise. But isn't it a good thing that the temperature is starting to rise? I mean, no one likes cold weather anyways. It's not such a good thing. Can you guess why? Because the Swiss love to ski. Well, it might put a cramp in their lifestyle, but that's not it. Think about the different animals and plants that live here. What about them? Well, they depend on each other to survive, and global warming is causing a lot of damage to their system. I don't understand. How have you not flunked out of school, you nitwit? So, plants grow at certain times. Animals eat those plants. Other animals eat those animals, and so on and so on. And, well, global warming is throwing the whole system out of whack. Well, because global warming is throwing the whole system out of whack, seasons are changing, weather patterns are changing. Some things are blooming earlier, others not at all. Some animals are struggling to find food. Some are even starving.
This is unbelievable.
This is global warming. I think it's time we move on. Welcome to Sudan.
What are we doing here? What does this have to do with global warming?
Because...
Wait. This trip has been exhausting. I'm starving. Let's go get some food.
Emily, that's the point. The Sahara Desert is expanding, and the desert is eating into farmlands. Less farmlands means less food.
How much less food?
Well, 4 million people will need food aid this year.
That's unbelievable.
And with the rain being so unpredictable, there have been later and later harvests and severe crop loss.
Oh my. But
I think it's time I take you back before I have to answer any more questions.
Jeannie, I think I've realized something.
What's that?
Global warming isn't just some boring thing you hear about on the news. It's something that actually happens. It's destroying people.
Oh, yeah?
I think that I'm going to start changing my life and the world around me. Jeannie, where'd you go? What about my 3 wishes?